I would say in general, people have not accepted that reality. I think the illusion that has been set up around the over romanticization of relationships, particularly how men are supposed to show up and be there, is something that a lot of women are still trying to unlearn. Again, it could be from the media, as well as married women and women who have been in long-term relationships in our communities not being honest about what it actually takes to be in a relationship, the things that you do have to sacrifice. Also being able to step away from your actual wants and needs. We talk a lot about consideration. We've talked about that. A lot of the times, you may not be receiving 100% from your partner. It may be 70-30. It can go hand in hand on that. And then sometimes you may not have the opportunity to just wait on your man to do things up front. So yeah, there's this false illusion that I believe is women are working on in general, or trying to, or a particular type of women to unlearn those things. So yeah, hopefully I answered your question.
What does it really mean to be compatible for you in a relationship?
In a relationship, to be compatible, we want to appreciate our similarities. But one of the biggest drivers of relationships not working out is typically the differences, from what I've been seeing and understanding. So taking time out to actually pay attention and address those gaps, trying to find, I guess, the light in those differences. And for example, I may not like sports, but how can I, be there for my man at that time? Or I like hiking, he doesn't like hiking. What can he do for me? Maybe he could pack my hiking bag, for me, and keep me company virtually while I'm on my hikes. Things like that. It's not only about you. I think that's another issue. A lot of people brought that up. A lot of people are self-serving in relationships. And when we can get to the point where we understand that it works in tandem, us serving one another, that's how compatibility will be able to thrive, like truly, and the differences won't break us.
Some say relationships are about supporting each other, but how do we know when we're given too much support and not enough challenge?
I guess when it comes to the point where, like how you guys were talking about the appreciation, if you're not feeling appreciated, you're like, well, maybe I'm just overextending myself, or maybe I'm having this expectation of a thank you or some type of reciprocation. Maybe that, can be voiced or concerned or things like that, or, in a nice way, like, hey, babe, have you been noticing that I've been, doing some this for you? He's like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I mean, there's ways to try to get feedback without tearing the whole house apart, I believe, because I think sometimes we don't know how to have good conflict resolution skills. So we just mess up everything. And now I'm on the side of the house, you're on that side of the house. And now we just feel like everything's in the trash. I want to leave and I'm not happy no more, So I think there's a way to get positive feedback of, well, maybe I'm doing too much or things like that, or just to voice the communication. You have to talk. Your man, your woman is not a mind reader. Before you burn yourself out, you should definitely probably slow down and reevaluate, some things, and, discuss with your partner. And then, like, you can insert the challenge, like, well, is it, when are you going to start doing a little bit more of this? We've been through this a couple of times, and, I just really would like if you would do this. And like, then now you can, respectfully challenge your mate in that way. And hopefully it doesn't come across like you're trying to be a nag or telling me what to do, but hopefully at that time, the respect level, can mitigate everything to be like cool, stuff like that. And that's just about it. It's just about keep maintaining the respect. It's about also considering yourself too, because you're in this relationship too, and you don't want to get, burnt out. You don't want to feel like you're falling off, or now I have desires for something else or things like that. You don't want to do that. You have to keep yourself in the loop, and you have to keep your spouse or mate in the loop as well.
Man. Listening to this, it's like watching paint dry. I'm struggling. I had some questions for the ladies, but I wanted to answer your question. That I remember the last one you had asked. Well, the first one you asked when I came on, you asked, "How do you know when you're compatible?" Was that the question?
Yeah, that was the question.
I think that most people don't find who they're compatible with because most people are trying to get their significant other to do things that they like instead of like. I think when you find somebody that you can effortlessly do what they like, that's who you're compatible with. If you constantly have to work to do the things that they like, you guys aren't compatible because you're going to eventually drop the ball. You can't sustain loving someone uphill. You have to love people downhill. People say relationships aren't easy, and that's the problem. Relationships should be easy because I don't know any of you guys that are struggling to be friends with your best friend. Like, oh, it's so much work to be friends with her. It's so much work to be friends with him. Every day I gotta try to figure out how to keep my male friend happy. Can you imagine us men out here putting in effort to keep another platonic male happy? That's insane. Same thing with the opposite sex. If I got to fight, I had this one girl that I used to date. Fine. I was like, ooh, baby girl was bad. At least to me, she was bad. I put her on about an 8.5 out of 10, 8.5, 9. It was so difficult to keep her. She was just in a space. Not that what she was asking for was wrong or bad or too much. It just wasn't what I was um tailor made to do. So it was a lot of work. And I was like, yeah, I'm not doing this. This ain't gonna work for me. So although she was happy in the relationship because I was doing the things that she liked, I wasn't necessarily happy doing the things. So I had to fall back. And it wasn't like it was breaking the bank or doing anything like that. It just wasn't what I was accustomed to doing naturally. So like with my woman now, what I do with her, I kind of love her down. It's easy to love her because her requirements are within the scope of what I naturally do. Some people may look at that as like not putting in the right amount of effort, and I think it's crazy to have to put in so much effort. You ladies want men to impress y'all in the dating phase, and a man will do it because the dating phase, well, I shouldn't say the dating phase, the get to knowing phase, because the get to knowing phase is short lived. What you in the get to knowing phase? 30 days? What dude can't keep up a facade for 30 days? Yeah, you keep up the facade for 30 days, and then now you think that's who he is. You fall for him. You want to be in this committed relationship because he's doing everything. He's fantastic. He's great. No, he about to fall off a cliff, and he's about to take your heart with him. And now all of a sudden, you think he was lying. All these dudes play games. They just do what they do to get what they want. No, he was doing what you required for him to get what he wanted.